and I'm a geek. All right, so my dad eventually made me realize that I really didn't need the pager. It was more about being, who you were supposed to be. And so I let the pager go. But still to the day, a couple of my friends that I grew up with, like since I was a little guy that I went to school with, they still teach me about the pager. It was like neon orange. Wasn't even the cool black one like everybody else had.
It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, it is 8 o'clock. Okay.
Yes.
Well, then I guess we should go
Terry's
ahead and...
rambled long enough.
You asked. This is life advice over here.
Lots of filler tonight. No awkward silence.
Watch it.
So excited he's here.
Awesome.
Woo!
All right, everyone. Hello to everyone who is tuning in. God, I need more caffeine. No, I'm not even close to ready. I have been testing all day to get this thing going. So, real quick, let's do our fast little pre-show. Hello, everyone that's joining us. Thank you for coming back. For those of you who are returnees, and for those of you who are fresh, brand new, thank you for joining us for this evening. We have got a fun show ahead of us today. We've got a in-studio guest host who I'll introduce in a moment. We're going to be talking about the Mandela effect, so stay tuned for that. Also, we're going to be launching a new fun game. Uh-oh.
That's it. That's me.
There we go.
I'm
Yeah, running the show already. We're going to be launching a new a fun game that you guys are all going to be able to take part in called the Tournament of Terror, which we'll explain later. We will also be having a fart jar drawing, so stay tuned for that. And our call-in line, of course, will be open, which we'll bring up the phone number later on. But for right now, let's go ahead and just get this show started.
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
Them! They're coming! They mostly come at night. Mostly. I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Now clear your minds. It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
You're gonna be just fine. I'm your #1 fan.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
We have such sights to show you.
I see dead people.
It's just occurred to me we really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment. No sense worrying about it now.
Why worry? Each of us is wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back.
Hello, everyone, and sorry about that really rough little intro. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here. So, welcome to Monster Vision Live. I am your host, and sitting across from me at the control station is Natalie. And joining us today in studio is Mr. T.C. Morgan, stand-up comedian and actor. Hello, TC. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for the round of applause.
Anytime.
I appreciate that.
Cool. Well, hey, thank you for coming in today. Tony came down with a real bad case of the creeping crud earlier this week, and I think he's coughing up a lung, so he could not be with us today. So thank you very much for coming and sitting in with us.
Anytime, and nobody has to die for me to be here. Let's just make that clear too. So.
Very cool. It's always good. So, all right. Let's see here. We'll go to this. We'll go ahead and bring up the phone line. We don't have the phones open just yet, but we'll just bring it up so that you guys can write it down. Make sure you put it in your phone, all that kind of stuff. Because later we will be talking about the Mandela effect. That's always been something that I've always found very interesting, and I did a little bit of research earlier today, so we'll be talking about that. And I mentioned that we have a Tournament of Terror. So those of you that are watching, start plugging in the comments like your your all-time favorite, what you think is the best horror movie, because we are going to get a little game going, and you all are going to vote on it. So we'll explain later on how that works. And, of course, we do have a fart jar drawing that is going to be happening at some point during the episode. And we, of course, got a brand new Artist of the Week. And this guy is really, really good, so you guys will really like it. Let's see. All right, so news from this past week. Let's see. Natalie, how was your week?
It was good. It
Cool.
was really good. Friday the 13th yesterday, went and got a tattoo.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Okay, and I don't see it on your arms anywhere, so...
I know. Everybody's like, where is it? It's way back here.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's okay.
And an octopus?
It's my Cthulhu.
Oh, Cthulhu. There we go.
My adorable little Cthulhu.
Cool. Well, this week, Natalie and I also took a little field trip to Higbee Horror Haunt in Modesto, and we got to film some footage of basically kind of like a pre-setup of a haunted house. And I kind of wanted to do that because I know a lot of people out there have never really seen like a haunted house being built and stuff. And that was really a lot of fun. We're going to have that segment on the next episode or two away. So that was good. I've been on vacation all this week, and I've been working nonstop out here trying to get stuff done, trying to get things set up. And I actually got the first couple of Mask Academy videos, tutorials. They're very, very rudimentary videos, I would say, or not rudimentary, but what's the term? Like super duper beginner type stuff.
Basic knowledge.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that when I'm doing these tutorials that I'm explaining stuff as if you know nothing, and I'm trying to make sure you kind of learn everything.
Some of us do know nothing, so thank you.
Yeah, so that is, those are up, and I've got a third one that I was hoping to get launched today, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to finish editing it. So, however, we do have, and Natalie, you'll have to run this real quick. I'll switch us over to, in honor of starting the whole thing up. Oh, you know what? I wanted to bring this guy up to hauntlist.com. You may have noticed in the intro, we have a sponsor for our episode. It is hauntlist.com. Some really, really cool t-shirt designs. So they are on there. You're going to want to make sure you follow the links in the description of this video and check them out. But let's go over to our TeePublic shop and show them, because I got a couple of new designs that I uploaded. And if you click on one of the UMMAs, I wanted to have something kind of fun. So I made like a college shirt design kind of thing where you can see the college shirt, Uncle Monster's Mask Academy. And
perfect. It's Saturday. It's college football day. Who doesn't want to be walking around with one of those on?
There you go. And I love what it says around the coat of arms. It says, who needs college debt when you have YouTube, the University of YouTube. So if you like our show and you want to support us, jump on there and check that out and get us a shirt. Also, since it just got uploaded, they're actually on sale. They're only $13 for the first 3 days. So it's a really good opportunity to get some. Also, I forgot to look up whose name it was, but there is one on there that is that actually says on the bottom of it, Polter Guidance Counselor. That was a submission from one of the viewers. They got 5 entries in the fart jar. There's 3 other versions that are coming out, and I will put those shirts up as soon as I get done doing them. So yeah, those are all there. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the Mandela effect. Perfect music for the Twilight Zone. So those of you who do not know what the Mandela effect is, basically, for some reason, in the 1980s, many of us seem to remember Nelson Mandela dying while he was in prison during the whole apartheid thing. I'm actually one of those. I recall that he died, and I thought for years and years that he did. But the truth is, he didn't die until 2013. And so it's kind of like really, really weird. So there seems to be a lot of different things where people remember something a certain way, and it turns out that's not true. And I did some research on understanding how memory works and whatnot, and it's really, really interesting, the fact that you can see something and then a year later be asked about it and have so many details wrong. Human memory is totally unreliable. Yeah, but the crazy thing about it is that so many people remember the exact same things wrong. And that's where it gets really weird. So we found a little website here. And if any of you have ever encountered I can't bring it up, but why don't you bring up the camera that has all three of us and the screen? If any of you have got a serious Mandela thing, throw it up on the comments and let us know. So we're going to go through some of these, and you guys tell us what you actually remember. So Natalie, let's go ahead and see that first slide.
Jif or Jiffy?
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen. Okay, so Jiffy or Jif. Okay, I'll start this one off. I never made the mistake with Jiffy peanut butter, and I think the reason a lot of people do is I think they're getting Jif peanut butter and Jiffy popcorn confused, and I think that's kind of the link there.
Yeah, so. This isn't so much a phenomenon. Like in my family, we have a word for this. It's called bonehead. When you pull a bonehead and you say the wrong thing or name something that doesn't, that's all it is. I mean, my grandma calls you a bonehead. That's just the way it kind of works out. So I think that's what this one kind of is, more than a phenomenon.
Let's go to the next one, Natalie. What's up next?
Next is...
That is Looney Tunes. Okay, now this is one that I swear to God, I remember Looney Tunes being Toons.
Yeah.
And I remember being that way because I remember watching it as a kid and thinking, that's spelled wrong. And then I realized, oh, wait, no, that's cartoons. And now they're telling us that, no, it's always been Tunes. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disagree with that one. I'm going with the Mandela effect on that one big time.
Definitely.
How about the next one?
Yeah, that's just weird.
Which one is that?
Bernstein Bears.
Oh, Berenstein Bears, yes.
Bernstein.
It's not Berenstain, but for some reason, all of a sudden it is. So that one, I'm going to agree. That one is really weird. That one's got me.
Bernstein.
How about the next one?
I think this is a marketing
Okay, I can't vote either way on Curious George because that wasn't my generation. That was after me, and I don't remember it.
No, he had to have a tail because he was getting in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure he had a tail.
I mean, yeah, I mean, again, I think this is a marketing ploy more than a lot of things because, you know, once everything gets PC, then you get into that world and stuff. But I mean, I'm a Clifford the Big Red Dog guy, so I can't. I'm with you. I really
Wait. Don't you mean Clifford the Big Yellow Dog?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my God.
All right, let's go to the next one. All right, this one is Sex in the City.
I feel like my whole life has been a lie.
You know, this one I can't really vote on whether it was Sex in the City or Sex and the City, but I swear I thought it was Sex in the City, but I never watched it.
I'm a Seinfeld guy. I want to get that out of the way in case anybody wants to, like, you know, get into it or anything. And I you know, these are the years where I do remember watching, and I think it's and. I'm not gonna lie. I think I can go with that one.
Okay. All right, and what's up next? Febreze. You know what? I got nothing on this one. I don't remember ever being 2 E's.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
I never used it. I'm a guy. You know, I don't.
That's right.
I use Comet.
How about next? Oscar Mayer. I used to sing the song, so I always had it right. It was never Meyer. It was always Maosc. All right. My baloney has a first name. We all know the words.
Come on.
Keep going.
Dude.
You know what? That reminds me.
I don't have that over here.
Okay, I'm going to stop real quick because Doreen, I'm not sure if she's tuned in, but I think she is. Oh, she is, and she's on there. I had a funny thing that happened earlier when I was trying to test all the audio. I was in here doing a live stream to my own personal page that was set up as private just to test audio and get things worked out. And I was in here recording, broadcasting just to my own thing, and I was like singing in the shower. I mean, I was making all kinds of funny stuff, and I got done and I stopped and I went to go re-watch the video just to make sure the audio levels were good, and right when I stopped it and like loading it, Doreen clicked, she liked the video. I was like, oh my God, don't let that go out to the world, because I was doing some really embarrassing things.
Dancing, I heard about that.
Yeah. So Oscar Mayer. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Skechers. You know, I do recall Skechers having a T in it, and the fact that it doesn't, that's kind of weird. So I don't know if anyone else, remembers that. Okay, let's move on. And Fruit Loops. I can't vote either way on that one. I never really had Fruit Loops a whole lot.
Again, looks more like a marketing ploy with it, because I'm a Fruit Loops. Yeah.
I don't know if Captain Crunch is in this one, but I distinctly remember being a kid and Captain Crunch being spelled Captain Crunch.
Right, that one's
and
in here too.
We went and got it just, a couple months ago or something. I was like, oh man, I haven't had that forever. And I grabbed the box and picked it up, and all of a sudden now it's Captain Crunch. And I was like, when did they do that? So
I am known as Captain TC Morgan. If you don't know, you go on my Instagram. It's the Captain TC. I am a firm believer. No, they changed. The captain is it's Captain. You earn that rank, okay?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of beat up kids' gums to be called Captain.
Exactly. All right, what's up next?
Do you know this one?
Which one is that? I can't tell on my screen. It's too small.
I don't know if there's. Let me see if there's a caption to it.
Just pass it then.
It looks like my friend Leonardo.
Oh, no, that's Henry VIII with the turkey leg thing.
Okay.
They're showing a really bad example. I do remember there being a Henry VIII painting with a turkey leg, but that one shows his arm holding it up rather than kind of across his chest. And I remember there being that, but apparently, no, Henry VIII never held a turkey leg in his hand. But I
don't even see.
That is
that's a terrible rendition.
Yeah.
On both pictures.
Yeah.
Monopoly.
Yes.
The monocle.
The monocle.
No. Okay, It's my time to speak up again, all right? Let's get this clear. The only person that wore a monocle was a peanut.
Yeah, Mr.
Peanut. Good-looking chap right there. Monopoly had his own thing going on. There's you know what I mean? Like, those were good-looking dudes right there. Don't cross them over.
I can vaguely... my memory wants to say that the Monopoly guy was wearing a monocle, but I can easily see how I would have crossed those two memories.
Classy guys.
Yeah, both of them.
That's
both. You imagine both of them at a party.
That's what I was just thinking. I hope one day to be successful enough to be at a party with Mr. Peanut and the Monopoly guy. That's a lifelong dream.
Yeah,
I mean, at that point,
all the women. All the women would be flocking to the two of them.
Just to hang around those guys, you know what I mean?
I'm going to get really PG-13 extreme here, but all the women would be flocking to him because one of them's got nuts and the other one is rich. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. What's next?
What was it? Pikachu.
Okay, so Pikachu. I was never into the Pokemon, but I've seen Pikachu enough times that I swear to God he had a black tip on his tail. But apparently he never had a black tip.
Now, this is one of those, I'm not a Pikachu guy, but having a martial arts school for all those years, I got to be honest, I got influenced by a lot of things. I'm pretty hip to some stuff. I think he only has a black tail when he's been fried, or he's fried something, or there's some type of combat situation, or he's morphed or something like that. I'm not sure. Get back to me on that. Anybody with me on that one? But otherwise, I think it's no black tip. I'm just saying, I think that's mega, Pikachu or something.
Pokemon was more of my sister's generation. She's much younger than me, and she might be able to chime in with something like that, but it definitely wasn't my whole thing. So, all right, what's up next?
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. Hell yeah, Kit Kat had a hyphen in it.
Is that really that big a deal?
Well, no, but it's. I mean,
it's clearly marketing ploys. I think somebody along the way decided to change it, but didn't want to admit that they changed it. This is that new Coke.
Okay.
Do you remember New Coke? Really upset about it?
All right, so
people lose their mind over New Coke. Apparently,
but the Kit Kat hyphen.
But okay, what do you think, Natalie? Did Kit Kat have a hyphen in it or no?
I don't think so.
I would say it did at one point.
Okay, I'm kind of there.
So there's a whole bunch more on here, but we're kind of running out of time. So here's the thing: I love conspiracy theories, and I'm kind of a nut when it comes to some of this. And I don't really believe in every conspiracy theory and whatnot, but I like to say what if. So one of the things that I like to think about when I think of the Mandela thing is, because I do find about 50% of the examples that they bring up, I agree. I remember it different than the way it is now. So my theory, since I love to just piece things together, is the CERN, Large Hadron, I don't know what it's called, the particle collider in CERN, Switzerland or whatever, that they smash atoms and stuff. I have a theory that when they started doing that, they were experimenting with things that maybe we should never have experimented with. They somehow ripped a hole in the fabric of space-time. They split multiple timelines, but not like everyone jumped on the same thing. I think they disrupted it. Some of us remember a different timeline than what other ones remember, and it's just kind of merged into one. That's my explanation.
And it took away a hyphen on a Kit Kat.
There you go, yeah. Purposely. And the reason for it was because that hyphen had evil plans to dominate the world.
If you feel the same way, I just don't want you to ever be an eyewitness for me of anything, all right? If we ever have any legal documents that we need to go to, if you feel that way, well, go ahead and pass for me. I just,
I can take it one step further, because I've been doing a lot of, watching a lot of shows and stuff on smaller than atomic or subatomic particles, the whole quantum physics and all that kind of stuff, which is an absolute mind-blowing trip. The idea that solid matter, when you get down to the root structure of what it is, it's like it's nothing. It's energy. It's not even matter, and it's crazy. So there's a lot of theorists, and we're talking some big name theorists that are starting to not only say that it is possible that our reality is a simulation, but that mathematically it's actually more probable that we are living in a simulation than living in a real environment. So my thoughts are, if we were living in a simulation and somehow the simulated minds built this, particle collider, and it screwed with the matrix and somehow changed the code or whatever, maybe that's what all this is. So
I want to speak to who's ever in charge then, because I'm gonna need some hair back. And come on, what's going on here?
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. I really, that stuff to me is really just it blows my mind. So
I love the quantum theory. I'm a huge guy in that stuff too, and I even as a comedian, we were talking the other day, me and a couple of my comedian friends, and one of them was talking about the theory of the alternate, universes all going on at the same time, and what moment do they split and all that, And I said, you really need to look into Spock, man. So
yeah. Well,
sharp dude.
It's a weird world out there, that's for sure, and science is definitely finding that it's weirder and weirder. So, all right, let's move on to our next fun subject. We're going to go ahead and go with we're going to bring up an artist of the week. We have a guy who we're going to do that does some fantastic work, and as always, we are always looking for people who are interested in being artist of the week. So if you are interested in that, reach out to me and let me know. We'll check out your stuff, and we will try to make some room to get you seen. But for the here and now, let's go ahead and run with our artist of the week for this week. It is time for our Artist of the Week. This week we are going international. I have on the line with me Anders Lerche from Denmark. Anders, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely awesome. Hey, thank you for joining us on this show. It's an honor to have you here. I've been looking at your work, and I am so impressed with it. I think everyone's going to get blown away. So, to start off with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you're located, just.
Well, my name is Anders. I'm 48 years old. I live in Denmark, and I've been doing special effects, makeup, masks, decorations, and stuff like that for about 25 plus years. We're outside here in my workshop right now, and I'll try to give you a look around to see all the monsters. It's kind of cramped in here, but it's big enough for me to do my projects.
Oh, very nice.
There's an orc here, and then there's a couple of snow demons or whatever they like. I think they're kind of closely related to the Night King from Game of Thrones.
Exactly, that's exactly what I love the paint on that. That looks so good. How did you get into mask making? Let's take a trip to the way back, and what inspired you to get started in doing this?
Oh, that's a long story. Well, I suppose it started back in the early 90s. when I finished high school, I didn't quite know what to do, as most people don't. So I kind of drifted around, and me and my friends were watching a lot of horror movies, splatter movies, and we started dabbling with makeups and stuff. And then I discovered these books that you can find. That was before the internet, of course. There was Tom Savini's books and Dick Smith, of course. And that kind of led me to a path of this stuff is cool, and you can do it yourself, and it's not hard. Despite I'm living in Denmark and things are not exactly readily available here, you could find these things, and it took me on a voyage, really. And then one thing led to another, and then there's a thing called LARP, live action role playing, that started back in the 90s in Denmark. That was pretty big, and I encountered these guys out in the forest, and they were in the need of a makeup artist, and that was me. And before you know it, I was doing ears and teeth, and then somebody asked for a mask, and I figured I can do that, because I read about it. How hard can it be? So, and that kind of taught me in a way to become a makeup artist, because I had hundreds of people to do all kinds of makeup on. And then I started teaching at schools and places like that, and then I tried to become professional in a way. Now I've been doing these things for 25 years or more, and I've had a company, same company I have now, really, a couple of years ago, and then I was hired by another company, and then I sort of drifted back into having my own company, because I couldn't leave this stuff alone, and it's something that I have to get out. It's in my blood.
It can be addictive. Is this what you do for a primary income, or is this a side hustle for you, or where are you at with this?
It is actually my primary income right now, and I've been doing this current company that I have, Anders Lerche, FX, for 2 years, and things are working out. I think I did some work for one of the seasons of The Rain, the TV series. Mm-hmm. They liked it, and maybe we're doing something more. Can't tell you much about that.
Very nice.
And then there's been theater work, and then there's been movies. Not much movies really, but a little here and there. Okay. The thing is, when you do special makeup, you get all kinds of people that want you to work on the movie. We're doing this zombie movie, and it's gonna be great, and everybody's working for free. And I'm not doing that jobs anymore. I have to make money from it, so it's goodbye.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, your personal life. So, are you married? Do you have family? Other hobbies outside of this? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I'm married again. I have a son who's 27 years old from my first marriage, and I have 2 sons, smaller sons now. One is 6, one is 9. Oh. And I live together with my beautiful wife in this house in a suburb outside Copenhagen. It's just a small house, really, with a small garden, and my tool shed, as you can call it, is out here in the garden. That's my workshop, basically. My hobbies? Well, I like movies. I like video games. Oh. But I also like Halloween a lot. Halloween, you should call it, I suppose, is really, really growing in Denmark. And I've been doing a little bit of work for the American Halloween industry. I've been doing some work for the Horror Dome, Zagoni Studios, Ghoulish, not much, but just a little bit. I try to make my mark if I can, because I want to make these masks for the companies and see them get out there for mass consumption.
Yeah. All right.
And Halloween is our thing, my wife and I. Each year we decorate the garden, turn it up to 11. So our garden can stand next to almost any American garden. It's crazy. You got animatronics, you got giant spiders, fog machines, laser light, you name it, we got it, because we love that shit.
Now, I'd be willing to bet that your neighbors probably look at you the same way that I get looked at by all my neighbors, is that I'm that weird guy that's way too much into Halloween. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately so. The rest of the year, our house is pretty normal. Even at Christmas, it's just a couple of lights, nothing special. And then at Halloween, everything just crawls out of the ground. It just goes bananas. You can hear the kids cycling beside our house in the summer and going, "Oh, there's the crazy house there with the Halloween, man. It's fucking nuts. You should see it."
Well, that's the way it should be. Halloween is way better than Christmas. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, now I know you viewers are watching this and the footage is not so great, but let's take a quick moment to look at this montage of some of Anders' work, and you're going to be blown away. So take a look at some of this. Now, I'll tell you, that is some amazing work. Anders, I am absolutely impressed with what you've got going on there. Totally cool. I appreciate you coming on the show. Is there any last things you'd like to say or anything like that?
Well, I'd like to say that I'm available for work, so if you need any sculpting done, I can definitely do it. I'm willing to travel. I've been working on film productions. I worked a little bit on the last Harry Potter movie, and I can do theater, I can do decorations, illustrations, but mostly I can do masks and creatures. I love that stuff, so if you need anything, just call me. We'll figure it out. I can do stuff here. I can come to the United States if you need it. Just tell me what you need.
All right. And now also seeing that you are definitely a seasoned professional who is in the industry, if you could impart like one nugget of wisdom for someone who's just getting into this art, what would be a recommendation you would give them?
There are so many advices. I love to teach people. I'm always willing and approachable to just ask me anything. A good advice that a buddy of mine once told me was to have a look at a skull, not a real skull, but and really study it intensely and see how it looks. Because if you can sculpt this thing without looking at it, you'll know the basic head anatomy. And then you look back at it again and go, wow, I was really off here. It's really different. Because the skull itself is such an interesting shape, and it tells you a lot about the shapes of the head. That and study nature, basically. Just draw all the time. That and sculpt, of course. Just look at what nature does and copy that, because that thing works.
Yeah, I tell you, that's probably one of the best pieces of advice is just making sure that people know to look at your reference material and use that as a guide. Well, hey, Anders, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. I'm very, very excited. Thank you very much. And you viewers, jump on Facebook, jump on Instagram, follow the links here, the caption down below to send this guy a friend request. And look at these masks. I mean, buy something from this guy. This is some really top shelf, amazing work. So, Anders, once again, I thank you very much for taking the time to share this with us, and hope to have you back on the show down the road. And man, this was very awesome to see across the pond, what's going on. So, thank you very much.
Take care, Ryan. Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, let's get back to our regular show.
Oh, there you go. You know what I just noticed is I happen to be wearing the exact same T-shirt in that interview as I am today, and that was not planned. I actually didn't even know about it. I just grabbed this T-shirt after I got out of the shower and put it on.
Wardrobe. I was wondering when that would happen.
Yeah, really funny. He was such a nice guy. I mean, we talked for a while before we did the interview, and I tell you, he is super duper nice. I mean, that how the Europeans are so they just have, the Northern European. I don't know about Southern Europeans, but I know Northern Europeans, they all seem so super duper nice and polite and stuff. So
those are really nice masks. Some of those were phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
That's great work.
So, Natalie, you're working on a makeup over there. Why don't you go ahead and explain what it is that you've got going on?
This is Gabby. She looks like a clown right now, but she's not. And she's my daughter. And I'm going to be doing a skull face paint while we are doing the rest of the show.
Now, I can't believe you've actually been able to get as much as you've gotten done in just that last few minutes that we swapped out. So that's pretty cool. Well, we'll keep an eye on you, and we'll see how this goes. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier that I took this week off from work so that I can kind of focus on making masks and editing videos and creating animations and doing stuff for this show. And it has dawned on me, and Tony and I have been talking about this for a while, and I mentioned it to Natalie when we took our field trip down to Modesto. I'm very much considering kind of changing the format and the way the show kind of operates. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not like a professional production, obviously, as you're watching this. But this is all pieced together. I don't have any training in any of this. It's all self-taught. And trying to put together all the material and content for every one of these episodes on a weekly basis is absolutely incredible, because I also work a full-time job that does overtime. And trying to interview people and edit all of that and create animations and do all of this kind of stuff is extremely taxing. So I had an idea, and I'm going to throw this out there because I would really be interested if anyone's watching it, if they would, put in the comments if they would be interested in doing this with me. I thought about doing this Monster Vision show as an every other Saturday type of thing, where we bring the whole cast together. We have a really well-prepared show, really interesting topics and stuff. And then in the Saturdays when we're not doing this show, I was thinking of doing a Monster Vision roundtable where I would invite other mask makers or sculptors or whatever to join me via Skype and get 2 or 3 other people. We can set it up on screen so that you see what all 3 or 4 of us are working on, and then it would just be like a casual conversation about whatever topics we want to talk about, and viewers could actually watch the 3 or 4 of us as we're sculpting and as we're painting and as we're doing whatever we're doing. I'm thinking that might be something that's kind of interesting. So pardon me, I want to just kind of float that out there and see if any viewers think that would be something that would catch your attention, that you would be interested in, and all of that. So
yeah, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it could be, someone could be doing makeup artists, like Natalie's over here doing a makeup demo. Someone can be doing that, and then we can just talk about movies or whatever. So anyways, that being said, movies. So I've got an idea for a fun promotion, and I'm going to be giving away a mask as a prize, and this is going to be called the Tournament of Terror. What it's going to be is it's going to be kind of a viewer and fan voted on elimination tournament of, we'll have 2 different brackets. We're going to have the bracket that's going to be modern movies, which I'm going to consider everything from 1995 going forward to be the more modern movies, and then have everything from 1995 and earlier as classics. And what we would do is we would have, first of all, you viewers would nominate the movies that you want to put on the board. We would have a board set up that showed this, today we're going to be voting this movie against this. People would vote which one they like, and it would kind of go down to the next bracket. And we would slowly bring the classics from one side, the new movies from the other, and narrow it down until we got down to 1 classic and 1 main one. And when we do that, people would vote on whichever side, and every vote you place would go into a different jar. And then, depending on which movie ends up winning this year's, best horror movie of all time, the people that voted for that movie, we would do a drawing and pull a name from that. So the question I have is, what movies do you think, and we're going to narrow it down to the top 8 classics and top 8 long run ones. So what movies do you guys think for either of those categories would you like to see in there?
I just have a question. Am I going to have to watch the one that sneezes the most?
No. I'm personally, I'm going to throw the Insidious movies in there, especially since it's got to be narrowed down to one. I would throw the first one.
I mean, I guess I'm more. I am stuck in the old school world. I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
Okay.
I'm an Exorcist. The director's cut was phenomenal. Made my wife sleep with the lights on.
Yeah.
So. How
about Poltergeist?
Not mad at it, but
I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I tried rewatching it again as an adult, and it's not quite the same.
Wasn't quite there for me. I love the American Werewolf in London. That the werewolf in that still to the day is the werewolf that I dream of, that I think of.
American Werewolf in London has got to be on that list for sure.
That's top. I mean, that's as far as makeup and all the effects go too. But I think, and then Night of the Living Dead. I mean, original, old school. Remember the beginning of zombies, essentially for most of us, and I just that's probably my 4 that I would definitely be swinging for. But I guess at the end of the day, I'm all about Freddy.
Yeah. Well, we have now got the phone line is open, so if anyone is on that wants to call in and talk about a movie, let me bring up the phone number. The phone number is up. No need to bring it up. I'm not used to running the computer because Natalie's doing her thing. How are we doing over there, Natalie?
Good. I just have a question.
Yes.
So what's going to happen for, It?
All right. Do we want to get into the It talk?
Well, I'm just saying, you have your old classic It.
Uh-huh.
But now you've got the new It.
Yeah. Well, people could vote either way. I mean, if we get enough nominations for the original and it gets up on the board, and then someone votes in for the newer one, it goes onto the board. I mean, it's possible it could come down to a It versus It.
Yeah, no, the original for me is I by far am Tim scared the bejesus out of me with that clown. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he's it for me. I mean that's. I watch other movies and see him in it, and it still bothers me. He was great.
Now, Robert Nasta has posted on here House on Haunted Hill, the original, not the remake.
Yes.
The original Alien movie from I'm a Percent. Jennifer Hanners with Rose Red. Doreen with Nosferatu.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I watched the original House on Horror. The original House on Haunted Hill maybe 15 years ago, and it was before I really had appreciation for classic film, and I thought it sucked. I was like, oh my god. But I just recently, not too long ago, watched it again while I was out here working, and once you have an appreciation for that old school film, that's actually a pretty good show. So.
I own that on DVD. That's literally, I don't have a huge collection or anything, but that is one of the ones that I own, and so I have to admit, it's the classics. Sometimes when you go back and watch them, you realize that all this new stuff really is just a take on some of it. So it's good to appreciate.
Now, how about one more? And I'll tell you what, this is one that I watched when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. The Shining.
Yes.
Oh my God, did that give me nightmares when I was a kid? Oh, that was a bad experience for me.
I hear they're making another one.
Yes.
I've heard something about that.
Yeah, where the kid's grown up and he's still bothered by the ghost or something. Oh no, that was that's still today. I think I just recently watched that within the last year, and I got to be honest, it got me. It's a captivator. You know what I mean? If you really sit there and pay attention to some of the details of that movie, it's scary. So yeah, I'm with you.
No.
And Jack, I mean,
Oh yeah. I don't know if anyone could actually take Nicholson's role in that. So
was beautiful. I
hope they never try to remake it.
No. From what I hear, it's like I said, it's an extended. It's with the young man, the son grows up, and it's so at least they're using the right concepts and not just trying to.
You suppose Jack's still in the maze frozen?
Gosh, I'd hope so. I mean, that's a great image. I can't lie.
So, Natalie, let's go over here to you and take a look at... Oh, my God, look at that. Wow. Gabby, turn a little bit towards the camera. I just want to see... Holy smokes. That is so awesome. So Day of the Dead is coming up, and Natalie is actually doing a lot of work with a local. Natalie, why don't you tell us about it?
Dia de los Muertos Oak Park is putting on their event on November 1st. We're going to have a big old celebration.
Okay.
And so I wanted to start practicing on my skulls, which they won't look like this. They won't be scary. They won't be creepy, because that's not the point of Day of the Dead.
Uh-huh.
They'll be beautiful. But I still need to get some... It's been a while since I've been picking up the paintbrush, so that's why I decided to do a skull, and yeah.
Now, I've got a question for you since you're doing that. We were talking, and I made the comment about how I wanted to do one of my wastelands with a sugar skull look to it. Mm-hmm. Can you do what you're doing, but with paint?
Say again?
Could you do what you're doing now, but instead of using makeup, use the paint that I use on masks?
Yeah.
And would you be interested in doing a collab where I give you a mask and you do that design?
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe we'll work something out there. So, yeah, because I'm afraid of doing it myself because I've never done a sugar skull and I don't want to ruin a mask. So, but very, very cool.
Nice.
Adding a little bit more to this.
I've been in the chair with Natalie personally, so I do know that experience, and I will not lie, that it's phenomenal. I've worked on movie sets, I've been in the business, on both sides, and no, I have photos of me that night, and it's still to the day, it's one of my favorites. So
nice,
phenomenal artist.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need to do something fun right now. So, Natalie, do you have the ability to grab that fart jar over there, being very careful not to break it? And if you could pass that over to TC.
Oh, boy.
Since TC is our guest, we're going to have TC go ahead and do a drawing.
This is as far as it goes. You got to work for it now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So now hang on, because I got to do a couple of things real quick to make sure everyone kind of understands. So first off, we're going to do a fart jar drawing, and I've actually had several people this week that have asked me, how do I get my name in the jar? So I'm just going to go ahead and explain it real quick, and then I'll explain the rules of how these drawings work. So the fart jar stands for the Fan Appreciation, Recognition, and Thanks. So basically, it's our way of paying it forward to fans. You get all these kind of businesses that are out there that are always saying, hey, like and share and blah, blah, blah. But when you do that, all you're doing is, obviously you're promoting that business, but they're not really giving you anything in return. We want to try to give something in return. And so what we do is when we see people who are extremely active and they're doing lots of commenting, lots of sharing and stuff, they're helping grow our business. When we start to see names that we recognize a whole lot, like Robert Nasta is making a bunch of comments on here, which he's a great guy, and we go kind of way back. So when I go back and review this, all these people that are making comments, they're going to get 1, 2, maybe 5, all kinds of stuff, and they get in here. When the jar gets too full to put any more in, I dump half of them out, and we keep adding to it. So who knows how long your name's going to be in there. So we do a drawing, and the way it works is, if we draw your name, you have until 8 p.m. tomorrow to reach out to me via Facebook Messenger, not the Decaffeinated Designs page, but my regular personal page, and just say, hey, I saw the video, you draw my name, I won. I'll get your shipping information, all that, and I will send you a prize. We don't charge you for shipping. We don't charge you for nothing. Drawings will vary depending on what it is. Sometimes it might be a complete mask. Sometimes it might be a coffee mug from our merch shop. For today, what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be giving away a Uncle Monster's Decaffeinated Designs Ouija design shirt. So in your size of choice, sending this out to you again. So Terry, go for it, man. Put the camera on you. And
no pressure.
Of a lunatic mind.
No pressure, huh?
Dig deep down there.
Dive down in here.
Dig way in there. Make sure you're just pulling out one.
Just one?
Just uno. All right. Who is our winner?
What if I ate it? Sherry Gobin?
Sherry Gobin. All right, Sherry. You have till 8 p.m. tomorrow to reach out to us. And if you do, you will receive your shirt. I will take that because I need to make sure I hang on to that. So there we go. Oh, you know what? Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Hang on, because I like to be kind of surprising around here.
Whoa.
We have another guest in studio. Gabby, would you like to reach in there and let's give something else away to someone else?
Just a second. All right. Over here. I know you.
Wait. Don't draw it up yet. Don't draw the name yet.
Oh. Keep them close.
I got to show what the prize is going to be. Okay, we're going to give away another T-shirt. This one is the Corpse-Cola T-shirt. I actually wore this the other day when Natalie and I went down to Modesto, and I had to stop at Walmart, and I had to make a couple other stops and whatnot, went down there, and then I wore it the rest of the day afterwards. Nobody even commented at all on it, but then I noticed no one really looked at it, and it dawned on me that I think people just see it from the peripheral and they think it's a Coca-Cola shirt.
Yeah.
And it's the type of thing where you can wear it very incognito and no one's going to notice until they look at it and then they realize what it is. And at that point, I'm hoping people will be like, oh, that's funny. That's cool. Where'd you get that? So yeah, we're going to do a drawing right now. Let's pass the fart jar over to Natalie, over to Natalie and Gabby, and reach down deep in there. We can't see it because it's off camera, but that's okay. She's digging in deep.
Oh.
Make sure it's just one.
It is just one.
There we go. All right.
Hold it closed. I can do this.
All right.
Stacy Hansen.
Stacy Hansen. All right. Pass that on over to me. I need to hang on to that as well. So we got two winners tonight for the fart jar. Reach out to me again via the regular Facebook Messenger. Go to my personal profile. The reason for it is, for some reason, the Uncle Monsters Decaffeinated Designs, I don't get alerts and I don't know that it comes across until I actually go in and check on it stuff. So, all right. We are actually, we're actually way ahead of schedule and I'm kind of running out of stuff here. So, let's see on my notes here. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. Cool. So it was a fun week. I had a little bit of a problem yesterday that was quite scary that I posted on Facebook. I had the worst ever anxiety attack that I've ever had in my life. And it was really bad. I had blood pressure that was all over the place. My heart was just going crazy, tingling and numbness and just everything. I almost thought it was a heart attack, and I was very close to either taking myself to the hospital or going, calling an ambulance or something. But I think what it was I subconsciously must have been thinking so much about how much I wanted to get done this week while I was on vacation and how many goals I'd set for myself that, it took a toll, and the lack of sleep and all that kind of stuff. So,
better watch it.
Oh yeah. The fruit of that, like I said, has come down to the fact that this week we did launch the first 2 episodes of my Mask Academy, which again, they are remedial. That's the word I was looking for earlier, remedial. They're the very, very, very beginning things. If you've already played a little bit with the clay and stuff, you probably don't have to watch those 2, but they're good too anyways. But the third one is where I start blocking out and I give some really good tips and all that kind of stuff. So that one will hopefully be up within the next few days and stuff. So, and you can go to YouTube to see that.
Nice.
So, and let's see. Also, yes. Again, I want to make the call for those of you who are Halloween type Gothic artists or anything like that. Mask makers, makeup artists, prop builders. If you're anything in that wheelhouse and you would like to be interviewed for Artist of the Week, reach out to me and let me know. We're looking for more people. I've got a few more videos that are in the can, but we are going to run out of them very soon. And I need more people to kind of promote, because one of the goals of this show is to get as many of you people out there access to this to be interviewed so that people can see your work, so people can find out who you are and get to know a little bit about the artist behind it. Also, if you're a haunt owner and you'd like to get plugged or anything like that, reach out. There's all kinds of things that we can do. We can do live via Skype and have you come in. We can even have you upload a video that you send to us, or just tell us a YouTube link to something and we can actually bring that up. We are more than willing and anxious to try to get out there and help as many other independent business owners, independent artists, all of that kind of stuff. We want to try to spread as much word. I did a post earlier in the week that got all excited because, yay, the spirit stores are open. But I wanted to also make sure in the post I said, yay, the spirit stores are open. But don't forget, the Mask Marketplace by Uncle Monster on Facebook has thousands of members and tons of very, very talented independent artists. And these are guys that are, like me. I'm out in the shed, complete amateur, self-taught. These are the kind of guys, when you buy something from them, you are truly supporting someone's dream. So
yeah, no, I mean, that's most people. We tease about the name The Captain, but a lot of people know me from the Comic-Cons. I ran around for quite a few years dressed as Captain America, and I had a booth for a while, and I sell my own made post-apocalyptic props and different things like that I made throughout the years. And plenty of people that I've come across were fellow artists that had their own booths, that made their own things. I ran across lovely people like Natalie that did their own stuff as far as makeup, and I seen a couple of people that were into building not necessarily masks, but some of the other items that go along with costuming. And there is such a huge network of people out there that if you reach out and you talk to them, I mean, the product that you're going to get from them at the end of the day is 100 times better than what you're going to get from mass production.
Oh, absolutely.
My handmade items that I sold at some of those cons literally were built by me in my backyard in my shed with some help from some loving family and a patient wife. And, they were really neat to where I remember one con we went into, I had made some prop weaponry, and that was all post-apocalyptic. And the guard, the kind of guy at the door, was a little worried that some of them looked too real. I mean, they had action, they had bolt action to them. They were rusted because I had used actual rusted pieces of metal, not something that I had painted. I went through the actual labor of finding stuff and leaving it in the the dirt and waiting months to use it. And people don't realize what you get from an artist is their love, their time. And yeah, we sell a little bit of our soul in each and every one of these things. That's true, but we do that because we love it. And I personally am a huge fan of you, sir. Your mask, as everyone knows personally, and everyone else is going to hear, I want one of these masks so bad, just so I can walk around and scare the bejesus out of people for a while. That's comedy to me. So
I appreciate the compliment, and I get a lot of compliments from people, and I always feel sheepish about taking them. Honestly, I consider myself to be actually very middle of the road. There are so many people out there that are just light years beyond me, and they're the people that I look up to. And when I look at what they're doing and I'm like, oh my God, look at his work, I try to emulate that. And I think it's cool that there are people that are just getting into this that maybe are looking at my stuff and saying, hey, I want to do that. And that's the purpose of my tutorials, is to try to teach you to at least get to where I'm at. And I think once you get to where I'm at, then you can start to be like me and start to look at these guys that are way up there. And part of being an artist is always striving to learn more, to become better, and never being fully satisfied with your own work. But you're right. I mean, when you buy from an independent artist, yes, you're going to probably pay more than what you would pay for at the Halloween shop, but you're not buying some mass-produced, someone who spent, maybe a half hour painting something. You're buying something. When I paint a mask, I spend hours and hours and hours doing it, and I like to actually make all of my masks look completely different. So I don't mass produce anything. I'm always trying to think in my head a new paint scheme, a new color scheme, and stuff like that. So
it's literally one of one. You know what I mean? You're getting the one version of it. And I've been a zombie in a movie and didn't look as good as your mask. So, and I spent 2 hours in makeup that day.
Well, I just want people to know that when you do buy from those independent artists, go to the Mask Marketplace. The thing is, I know that you're spending a little bit more than the Halloween store, but number one, you're actually buying a piece of art. You're not just buying a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
And number two, know that the money that you just spent is actually helping someone's dream come true, because that person is dreaming of doing this. And when you go to the Spirit Store, nothing against Spirit Store, they are great stores, but when you go there and you spend $30 or $40 on a mask there, all you're really doing is you're helping like the CEO buy another vacation home in Barbados or something, and it's kind of like
golf ain't cheap, I hear.
Yeah, who do you really want to
pay for this country club
support? So
no,
and the same goes not just for buying products, but makeup artists. You know, there's a shirt on the store. I'm gonna bring it up real quick. I actually designed this.
I need 10.
Yeah, I actually designed this shirt specifically for my makeup artist friends, and it is the Exposure shirt. And I would really love to see some makeup artists who buy this shirt, and the next time they go to meet with someone to talk about working on a movie or doing a event or something, they're just wearing that shirt and they show up. That way they know right away before you even start to ask, would you work for Exposure?
Does that website take Exposure? Because I've got a lot of it.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to send Exposure to SMUD. That's my electric bill. My mortgage company. You know, I'd like to be able to pay all my bills with Exposure.
I grew up playing this video game called the Oregon Trail, and you can die from over exposure. So
I remember that.
That's
not trying to go out like that.
There's another shirt there.
You know what? I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to steal that idea from you to make another shirt, because I never thought of that. That's a good one.
It's there. I get it. That's one of my jokes. And that's part of being a comedian is, you know, you have to take some of your real life. And I played that game. I actually have a handheld version of it at home, and still to the day die from overexposure.
I played that game when I was in grade school, and we had the Apple IIc computers that our school got. And you know, you could play Oregon Trail, and you could play with DOS, which was like little turtle that drew like spirograph type things. And I never finished Oregon Trail.
No, it literally, it wasn't until I got the handheld version that I've actually seen Oregon. And I lived in Oregon at one point in life, but that was a rough game. That's not like this stuff these days where you beat it in 4 days and you're all excited and you're online playing. No. It was death.
Wow, look at that over there. That is some incredible stuff.
But then turn your head.
Oh, I didn't even see that side.
Yes.
Oh, she's so sad for being in here. I'm so sorry.
I've been doodling.
Wow, look at that.
No, Natalie did makeup for me one time for a private event that I did, and I still to the day, that is, this gal is phenomenal. My wife was like, wow. And the best part about this whole story is when I was done with the event, as an actor, sometimes you work these little private gigs, and it was a good gig, I'm not gonna lie. But I went to the Quick Stop afterwards to get soda. And I walked in full makeup. The guy behind the counter literally ran 2 steps back before he realized I wasn't.
And it wasn't close to Halloween.
No,
I mean, it was maybe
it was a few weeks. Yeah, I think it was early. It was early October. No, and it was I laughed so hard. I didn't have to pay for my soda. So I got the free 44-ounce that day. Wow. It was great. So again, if you have the opportunity to hire Natalie or work with Natalie, I super recommend her. Her model, I don't know. But
now speaking of that, Terry, you've got some engagements that are coming up too. So let's do what you got going on.
I do some things here every once in a while. We're looking at the 21st of this month. If you guys want to take a drive down south to the Stockton area, it's Murata technically. There's a lovely little bar, has a nice outside patio called KOE's. I will be the host for that evening's event. It's going to be some live comedy. Of course, they have like a taco stand and a few other things there. It's a really fun place to come watch some comedy. They have music. They have, all kinds of stuff. It's a great bar. And then we're looking at the 1st of October. It is Laughs Pro-Am. If you think that I'm funny at all and would like to see me do live comedy in Sacramento, please come out and mention that you're there to see T.C. Morgan. That's right. And we will have a blast that night, I promise.
Now, what is Laughs Pro-Am? That almost sounds like a sporting event. I mean, is this like comedy to the death battle or something?
No, it's a great mixture of some of the higher-end comedians that work around town or in the area, and then some of us that are literally on our way working ourselves up.
Okay.
So we're able to put on our own shows through the group that I work with, Broken Comics, and you can come see us, like I said, down there in Stockton. But every once in a while, we try to go to the big time, and that's literally what that is. So for $5 on a Tuesday night, you can come out and see some of the funniest people in Sacramento, from the Bay Area, from the Valley. I mean, I'm funny looking, and I'll be there. So.
All right, cool. Let's see. All right, are we all done now?
Yeah, we're pretty much done. I don't know what else to do.
Cool. All right, Gabby, lean forward some because we can't see you. You're hiding.
Let's do this.
Come up so we can see you in the camera.
Let's put some music on for you here. Yeah.
More
Gary.
Oh wait, I'm on the wrong camera. There we go. Look at that. Okay.
Look at that.
That is some great work. That is some great work.
There you go.
Are you happy? Mm-hmm. Say loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we have reached our hour, and we're just about done. So I just want to remind you also that if you are a mask maker and you're looking to buy supplies, if you go to unclemonstersplace.com, my website, you'll see that I've got a store, and just click on the link. And there is different areas like the sculpting, which is what I'm working on for my tutorials right now. These are all Amazon links. So if you want to purchase something from that, you'll actually get the same price and protections and everything. If you're a Prime member, you get all the Prime stuff, but you'll be supporting our show and stuff. So it's kind of great. If you already buy from Amazon, just do us a favor and just buy it through that link so that you help kind of fund this and keep this going. So, and
don't wait until the end of October to buy your supplies like some of us, all right?
Yeah.
Go now. I literally drove past the Spirit Halloween store the other day, and because of what you said, I thought I should probably go in here before the things that I really like are gone, because I like to buy accessories from them too. You know, I like to use some of their stuff, and then I've even bought stuff from there and then, you know, re-assimilated into other items. So I did. You got me with your great advertising.
Now, another thing that I want to do is I also want to let people know that if you are a mask maker and maybe there's something that you buy on a regular basis that you buy from Amazon that's not on my list, because what I've put on there are the stuff that I actually personally use or the stuff that I recommend. But if there's something that you'd like added on that because you know that you purchase it but you want to support, let me know and I'll throw it up there, and I'll even put like a little link that says, you know, that hey, this particular product is actually recommended by so and here's their studio and check out their work, because anything we can do to promote each other is real big. So we're going to close up the show right now, but before we go, I like to always give kind of a little piece of advice. Today's piece of advice is actually aimed at those of you beginner mask makers, because of the fact that I am making the tutorials. Again, in the links of this description for this video, there's all the links for the different websites, TC's information if you'd like to follow him. I mean, everything that's out there. But this is one for you beginning mask makers. Always remember that when you're first starting at your first mask, it may not look awesome, okay? It may not be great, but understand something that no one's does. We all make kind of really crappy looking masks for our first time around. The important thing to remember is that you stick with doing the process and get all the way through until you get a wearable mask. Then, as I said before, then focus on improving your skills so that every mask looks better than the last one. So those of you who are unsure of yourself, get out there, do it anyways, see it through to the end, and then move on to the next one. And if you'd like to be featured on the show, again, we're not just looking for like the best of the best. We want to feature anyone that has a passion for this. The only thing that we like to see is growth. Show us some of like your first masks, show us your fifth one, and you know, we see growth, we see heart, we see passion. We want to feature you and help you get even further down the road. So that is all I've got. Again, TC, thank you for sitting in for Tony. And
anytime,
Natalie,
Tony, hope you're doing
course,
all right.
Thank you as always, and awesome work there with Gabby. So, and until next time, my friends, be good humans and stay scary, my friends.
Getting tattooed.
You're still here? The show's over. Go create something. Go on.